So, what if I told you that you could actually build a team without other agents?
Yes. Yes.
What would you say to that? Go ahead.
My opinion is that Conan was my two admins and we still consider ourselves a team.
Exactly.
For people to come together, to work together for the same purpose.
Yes, you hit the nail on the head right there. How many agents do you know that when they get busy and they are starting to do a lot of transactions, they're like, I am so busy, I need help. So they look at their friend who's also so busy and needs help, and they're like, hey, you're busy, I'm busy, let's be busy together. Do you think that that is going to help solve their problem? No. What I see happen is you have two heads, two people who have their own ambitions, which rightly so, no one should bow to somebody else's ambition, but they are just going in different directions. They're not truly working out. So what I would propose to you is the better way to begin the team process is to start with an admin or staff-heavy team. Now I know what you're thinking, like there's no way I can afford to pay a salary to an agent or to a team member, right? Is that the first year? Yeah, everyone's worried about how much it's going to cost. Well, there's not one right way to hire someone. You can do it within your budget, and if you do it right, you're going to bring in a team member that's going to help you produce more. They should be bringing income into your business so that you're not upside down. You can do it by the transaction. That's how we do the transaction coordinators, right? We pay them by the transaction. You hit that on the head. They are a member of your team. Yeah, definitely. You can do part-time, you can do VAs. What if I told you that you can even outsource? You can hire a company to generate leads for you, and that can be part of your team. So I want to change the way we think about teams. I'm saying that this is a micro team. I've heard a few other industry leaders refer to it that way, and I think it's perfect because when we think of teams, most of us think of the mega teams, right? So what if I told you that those mega teams are rarely profitable? Would you believe me?
Yes.
The mega teams that have, 50 agents and close 500, 1,000 transactions a year, oftentimes their bottom line is leaving a net profit of 100,000, 200,000. And probably a lot of you in this room made more than that last year. As a micro team leader and the way that we teach, you can net more, you can be more efficient, you can have more sustainability long-term, more control over the customer experience, you can protect your brand. It doesn't mean that you have to be successful in this business, you don't have to close 500 transactions a year. No, it doesn't mean that you can't either. So the beautiful thing about this method that we teach, the micro team formula, is when you have this proper foundation laid, you can grow. You can have the expansion teams, and you can do it with more profitability. So we're going to talk today about what is a micro team and what does the structure look like, and how can you go back home and start the process to build. Okay, so who thinks that what are the benefits of having a team versus being a solo? And maybe pros and cons. Yeah, Misha.
You get more leverage to do the things
More
that
leverage.
you're good.
I mean,
Camaraderie. Camaraderie.
yes. This is a lonely business, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially when you see success. Sometimes it feels like the world is out to get you and there's no realtor in your corner. Yeah, so having that built-in team, you have a family. Yeah, I have my family over here. Literal, and yeah. So let me introduce my team. So I have Ty Hines here on the corner, and she is my husband's sister, but she's also she's my team member. She's worked with me. First, she joined our brokerage as an agent because I had a brokerage. I quickly discovered I did not want to be a broker. I did not want to do compliance. That was not the life for me. And so we formed a team, and I was winging it. And it wasn't the best all the time, was it? Yeah, I can count on her for honesty too. So today in our business, Ty is our listing coordinator. I'm going to go over some of the positions and they're going to explain exactly what they do for me on the team. The way my team works today, I work less than 20 hours in my business every week. And we close over 100 transactions every year. What do you think about that? Sounds like something you want to do? Yeah. Yeah, and it's because I have an amazing support system. They know what they're doing. And I don't feel like anyone, I guess I'm putting you on the spot, I should ask with Sue, but are you guys overworked? That isn't like, ask me the words.
Okay. That is not normally her, it's normally this client. Yeah, we're contractors.
So, Madison Simmons.
Yes.
So Madison is my transaction coordinator. She came to work with us last summer. I had another transaction coordinator that was working with us for about a year and a half, and it just wasn't a good fit. We had to get it together. And when that happened, which wasn't the best, I mean, I wasn't excited about that process, but because God closed that door for me, He brought Madison. And we have such a tight-knit family. I'm going to be gone for 3 weeks. So last week I was gone all week and I was focused on abundance. This week I'm here. Next week I'm on vacation. We're going to Disney World. My son's on his way. I got pictures of him at the airport. So I get to do that and not stress and worry. In fact, we have a team member back home, ML. She is my ISA, and she also builds all phone calls. So, I don't know if you know this, but on your iPhone, you can go to settings and hit on phone and hit call forwarding. All of your calls can forward to someone else. How would that feel if you could do that? And you can trust them to handle it. So, that's what I get to do this next week. I'm going to be forwarding all of my calls, so because my son, my 10-year-old says, you're not allowed on phone. And so those are the 3 positions so far, and we also have one more, and she's not here. Angela, she's my showing agent. So I have 4 people on my team. Ty is licensed, Angela is licensed. They are both agents. They both can produce their own transactions because we've grown to the point where we do have enough leads to give them. And this is me, fast forward. I'm not saying you have to start here, okay? I'm just telling you, here's where we are today. And then we have Madison, who's not licensed, and she's paid by the transaction. And we have my ISA, who is a salary. She's my only full-time salary person. So that's the structure of our team. Where did Nellie go?
She's out baby. She's got baby out there.
But you're the one I need anyway. Yeah, no, just a minute. Okay. I just want to introduce you. Okay. So Nellie is also here, my friend, and she runs an expansion team. She runs it in Wisconsin and in California. She's been a team leader for quite a while. And here she comes. This is her daughter, Fiona. And Fiona is the ISA on their team. And so, Nellie, do you want to tell them just a little bit about what your team looks like?
Sure. So we started out with one administrator who who was our main transaction coordinator, our marketing, our support person to me. She was my executive assistant. And 6 months after hiring her, we split her role out into transaction coordinator and marketing. So we had our second admin. And within 3 months of hiring those 2 administrators, I hired my first buyer's agent. And that was in May of 2020. It took from October 2019 to May of 2020.
Can I go here so you can hand them for you?
To see that growth. Don't put it on a timetable. Don't put it on a timetable. You will all grow, and your people will grow to the extent that you do and that your business grows. So we now have, I don't want to say the wrong number. We have
6 agents?
Yeah, six full-time agents, 2.5 admin, And I count Fiona as an agent, even though her main role is not showing homes in person and working with clients and writing contracts. Her role is so important to our lead generation department of our team. And the ability to set a qualified appointment is so valuable. Fiona wears the title of ISA, and she's just an agent that honestly has more control over her time.
Yeah, so we want you guys to know like what's possible. But if you're a solo agent, you may be thinking, so when would I be ready and how would I actually start this process? So after we've been able to take 50 women through this program, there's a few of them in the room today that have gone through our foundation team building program, which we're now calling the micro team. And the way I teach is if you have between 0 and 24 transactions, you're not quite ready to hire that salary position. But you could do a transaction coordinator because, first of all, they get paid when you get paid, so it's really not a, it's not a hard expense that you have every month, but it gives you the leverage because what's the point of having people on your team? Can anyone tell me? What is the purpose other than the job that they're doing? What are they doing for you? Amanda. That's good. I love that. But also, oh, I thought you raised your hand. Like, you can't answer anything. But also, for most of us, what's the highest and best use of our time? Lead generation, right? So when we are in the thick of a transaction, what's the first thing that we forfeit? Yeah. That's the first thing that comes off the schedule because we feel like it's not pressing. It's not immediate. I have to deal with this fire right now. I have to respond to this title issue right now or this loan problem right now. And so your lead gen time falls off one day, then 2 days, then a week. And maybe you don't even have a lead gen time right now at all. Maybe it's just kind of like, well, what business comes to me, comes to me. And that's just not a way to have a consistent business. When you have consistent effort, you're going to get consistent results. Who would tell me that you are consistent with your lead gen time? Is there anybody that, Nellie, love it. Fiona? I'd like to think so. Yes, yeah, it's kind of your job, like your whole job is ISA, yeah. Amanda? Yes. And that's so important. And it's hard, and I think if I'm honest, I was definitely very consistent at my lead gen time in the beginning, and now I get to leverage that piece off, and I get to have an ISA. And we do other consistent things, but I get it. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I understand why you're not consistent, but I think that you don't have consistent business because you're not consistently generating, right? Yep. So 0 to 24, you're wearing all the hats. And if you can offload some of your transaction tasks to a transaction coordinator, you really have nothing to lose. So I know, what are some objections you have about hiring a transaction coordinator and having that person in your corner? And maybe it's not your objection, maybe it's something you've heard other people say.
I don't ever want to feel like I'm passing my clients to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
That was always a big thing for me.
Yep.
I have started to
You have it now?
use, yeah,
How is it going?
very new.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I had someone that was in person, and then she had her own transaction coordinating business, so
Yep.
she used to help other agents as well. So we did that. That didn't really work for us because we have a really personable, we like that personable connection, and so we weren't getting that from her. So we just started with a VA,
Mm-hmm.
and he's been great so far. So it's someone that was a transaction coordinator for a big team before, so he knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
so far, I've only gone through one transaction with him so far, but so far so good. And I actually ask my clients too, I'm like, hey, listen, this is a new thing that I'm trying. Let me know how you feel about it.
Yep.
Because I want to make sure that you're feeling comfortable as well.
Yep.
I'm still here, you can call me, and that was always a big thing for me. I don't want them to feel like I'm passing them off.
Yeah. Amanda?
I feel like this about
Yeah,
That's
we're gonna talk about that too.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
thing. To me, the
Yeah.
transaction coordinator
It's
is
the showing, it's the people who are
That's true.
face to face with my clients, that's the thing I feel like I can't delegate now.
Yep, and I'll tell you how I do it.
Yeah.
And there isn't a one size fits all. I'm just going to tell you. And I also think that if you can switch your mindset, sometimes we're more hung up on it than our clients are. But on the transaction coordinator, I want to touch on what she said there. One, I love the idea of hiring a transaction coordinator that is already experienced and already has a process when you're newer. When you're closing that 0 to 24, look for someone who's experienced so you don't have to create the system for them. Number two, there is a way to insert yourself throughout the entire process where you are continuing to be in front of your client and to build that relationship with them and have someone do the paperwork for you at the same time. And I'm going to explain how we do that in a little bit, but I just want you to know that up front. And then there was something else you said that I thought, that's good. Maybe it'll come back to me in a minute. Okay, so who's closing more than 24 transactions a year right now? Okay, awesome. Keep your hand up if you have a team. Okay. Okay, you're working on it. Yeah. Okay, so everyone that just raised their hand, you need to come see Katie at the end because you need this program. You're ready. Okay? So over 24 transactions, you're ready for your first hire. And I would say you also need at least 3 pending currently, maybe 3 listings, and 3 months of your bills saved up. Okay, so then you're ready for your first hire. Who do you think that first hire should be? Because you already have a transaction coordinator in this theory. So who would your first hire be? Amanda? Admin? What kind of admin?
I probably would, so I've tried to develop something called a database coordinator, where they basically make sure everything I'm putting out is syndicated to the right people.
Yeah, we call that a client experience coordinator on my team. Yeah, I like that. So this is a trick question. There's not a one right answer with the first hire because the first hire really is yourself. You have to hire yourself for every position on your team and you have to know how you're existing and where you want to exist. And what I mean by that is you need to know your systems. You need to know what your processes are. You need to know what you enjoy doing. You need to know where your time is best spent and the things that you hate and you just typically put off or ignore. Have you guys ever thought about that? Have you ever sat down and really thought about everything you're doing on your team right now? And I say your team, even if you're a solo agent, it's in your business. Have you ever thought about it? So something I want you to do today, I'm going to have you pull out your pen and paper and I want you to draw an org chart with me. So you're going to be at the top. That's you. And then you have 4 departments. Your first department is marketing. Your second department, does any foundation student want to tell me? Second department? Sales. You all get the F. Your third department is your operations. And your fourth department is finance. Okay, you built your org chart. Now you know the departments. So what do these departments do? So your marketing, and this you should write this down as well so you can come back and reference it. When I realized, oh, okay, that task belongs in marketing, that task belongs in sales, it like totally unlocked because this is your foundation. You're going to be able to take what you learned today and build job descriptions, build standard operating procedures. Like this can be really huge.
When is that not like? Sorry. I know.
Nicole, when Nicole and I went over it, and you've been licensed for like, how long? 17 years. I was going to say 20, yep. And she's a successful agent. She's an amazing agent. And she's like, you just broke my brain. Do you remember saying that?
Yes, when we started peeling off these different functions and putting them in categories, I would have never been able,
know, all of the stuff that we do as real estate agents, when you're on your own, it's like everything's congealed in a blob.
Yeah.
You do it all yourself, and for her to peel these off, it did. I felt like it broke my brain a little bit. All these different options, and I was like, well, no wonder I'm tired.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So what does marketing do? Does anyone want to guess what marketing does? What's the function? And I like to say, what's the mission of marketing?
You get in front of people.
Yeah. Legion. Okay. Marketing creates opportunities. Marketing is creating opportunities. So what are some ways that you can create opportunities? Social media. So yeah, branding, social media, direct mail, open houses. Events. You said earlier you're a database, what did you say? Database coordinator?
Oh, me? Yes.
Yeah.
Database coordinator.
So do you think that your database goes in marketing?
Yes.
Is it creating opportunities when you stay in front of them? Yeah, it does. Okay, so that's marketing. What's sales? Nope. Well, yeah. It is converting the opportunities you've created into clients. So imagine you've posted on social media, and if you're part of the Inner Circle and you've tried our first-time homebuyer program, Nicole tried it the other day, and I think she got 100 leads or something like that. And
I have 75 right now.
yeah.
Just from one thing, I just have to say, it was huge. It's one thing, also broke my brain. I think of this myself, I've been doing this 17 years, I'm an idiot.
With an average fee being around $2, and that's like,
And it's free. This, yeah. This, and the first-time homebuyer program, if you don't know what it is, it's something we teach in our Inner Circle. So if you're interested in learning more about the Inner Circle and how to generate leads, come see Katie. She can tell you all about it. Or leave us a review or tag us, and you can enter to win too, right? That's what we said earlier today. Nellie's also done the version of the first-time homebuyers for, you said, the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, when did we go to Orlando?
It was in 2020. Yeah.
Right, so 2020,
Yeah.
the magical Facebook first-time homebuyers program probably came for me to be a part of the Inner Circle and come to abundance forever.
Awesome.
So do it.
So when you do the first-time homebuyer program on Facebook, you're going to generate leads. Those leads come in. So now, where is the client at or the lead at in this cycle, right? So here they came in, and here, what are you trying to do? Convert them. So that means when they hit your inbox or they go to your ISA, their job is to convert them to a client. So what do we do on that? How do we convert them to a client? What's the process there?
Qualify them.
Yep. Anybody else? Yeah. We call it scrub too sometimes. Yeah, but no.
Make sure they're good.
Exactly. Yeah. Do they really want to buy? Are they working with another realtor? And we set appointments too. So some things that fall under sales is your buyer consultation, your listing appointment. That's all under the sales. And we're going to talk about the different positions in these departments and tasks here in a minute. Okay, so what about operations? What do you think it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. It's servicing the opportunities. So you're creating the opportunities, you're converting the opportunities, and then servicing clients. I think Keller Williams says this is the wall of value, right?
The wall of value.
Yeah, that's what it is. Meaning, here's where you're getting it, and here's where you're providing that value. Here's where you're fulfilling your end of the contract with your client. Your buyer's agency, your listing agreement. This is where you're servicing them. All right, so service clients. Okay, what do you think about finance? What is the purpose and mission of finance?
Get you out of jail.
You're not allowed to answer. But that's good. Huh?
Accounting.
Yep. She's right. I joke and I say finance keeps you out of jail. Pay your taxes, those kind of things. But you're right. It's where you're going to keep track of your money, know where your money's going, so you can reinvest back into your business and in your life. And really, everybody should already have this team member in your corner as your accountant or your CPA, because unless you have that background, you don't need to be wasting your time on it, because you're going to make mistakes and end up owing $50,000 to the IRS like I did. And that's not fun. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and go through what my departments do, and I'm going to ask that they explain their position to you, and I'm going to ask that Fiona does here in a minute too. In fact, I'm going to ask Fiona to start because we're going to start with marketing, and you guys do not exist in marketing. So, okay, so marketing again is actually you don't either. Sales. Do you post? Do you do the posting? Do you create the opportunities?
Yeah, I do posting.
Okay, perfect. Well, you're marketing too. You have a new title. And that's another point here. When you're building your team, even though this may be like, oh my gosh, there's so many departments, there's so many different roles, you don't have to have a different person for each role. But it is important that they understand they are doing a different task and they have a different mission for each job that you are assigning them. Why do you think that is? Why is that important?
So they don't squirrel out.
Yep.
Happy
When
create happy transactions.
That's true. When you grow and your team member is like, I can't do more than 20 transactions a month, Jessica. And I'm like, okay, well, here's how much I'm paying you. Here's the jobs you're doing. What do you want to give up? So that I can take part of the salary that I've been paying them and I can pay someone else to do the part that they don't want to do anymore. Because that does happen, right? As we grow, as our team gets more successful, your people will grow too. And do you think that's a little easier conversation if I started out with, okay, here's what you do in marketing, here's how much you get paid for marketing, here's what you get paid for your ISA role, and when they come and say, I can't keep up with the metrics here, it's so much easier for me to say, okay, no problem. Which one do you want to give up? Right? It makes it an easier conversation. Okay, so you have 2 jobs. So you come up here and you tell us. So some of the highlights that you do, and remember, you're hiring yourself for this job first. So we're going to say this is like the client, I call it client experience coordinator. That's what we call it on my team. There's 2 roles here, client experience coordinator, and then just in general marketing, like on social media. I think officially we say marketing director, because director just sounds more important. Okay, so do you do these things? Do you post on social media?
Yeah, I more so do like Facebook Marketplace posts.
Okay, so you don't post like the listings?
I repost their posts.
The agents post it themselves, or you have somebody?
Like a team business page that somebody is paid to like.
You have a marketing person.
Yeah, exactly. We have a marketing person.
Yeah, and that's a good point too, because here's the other thing, ladies. If you're not at the point where you can hire a full-time salaried position, you can find companies that can create opportunities for you. And that's still a member of your team, and that's perfectly fine. So like celebrity agent, I'm going to be partnering with them, and they're going to fall under my team, under marketing. I'm going to partner with Whitley. They're going to fall under, because they're not going to convert the client. They're just going to create the opportunities for me. Okay, so talk a little bit about, we already talked about first-time home buyer. And so then what do you do in ISA when that lead comes in?
Typically, if we're talking about the Facebook, like first-time home buyer conversion, I'll talk to them, pre-qualify them, I ask them a series of questions like, have you ever gotten pre-approved before? Have you talked to any other agents? Would you be open to getting pre-approved? Because some people, they don't even know what they're clicking on, and you don't want to waste your entire time talking to them if they didn't even want to get pre-approved in the first place.
Yeah.
So it's just like asking those series of questions and then connecting them with a lender before you even set an appointment or before you even talk to them on the phone, typically. So it's just connecting them with the lender, getting them pre-approved, and then like nurturing them through that process and having the organization to keep track of them and not just send them off to the lender. Because sometimes the lender doesn't always follow up with them either.
Hi, Linder here.
Yes.
So I want to chime in here.
Grab a water.
Nisha has been doing a beautiful job with this same system. Like, you do not need to shout yourself out, but when we're talking to how many leads, I would say 120, give or take, plus in the last 8 weeks, 6 weeks, 6 weeks. Crazy. So, shameless plug, but she did start using a VA, which is helping a lot with fielding that, but your follow-up is so important. So, again, I'm available, we can talk, but if not, respectfully, you have your people. A lot of us do have like QR codes or links that you can send out and you can apply through it, and it took us some time to develop that system to make sure we were consistent and being able to hit everybody with that volume. But it's made a big difference, and we were starting to see the applications flow through, and now it's just kind of having that system of, okay, these are priorities. I have an app, I have something I can look at, I can pull this quickly and let you know right away. It's a yay or it's a no for Madoff. And then past that, I'll make a plan of action. And then afterwards, we can either have that drip assist campaign or some sort of nurturing plan. We do credit repair too, so like that's something else that some people, we just
I'm
like
really
streamline.
glad you said that and spoke up, because that is so true, ladies. If you're not
In a position to have an ISA, partner with an amazing lender and let them be your ISA. Because it is possible. I'm serious. Like, yeah, for real. What? Because they actually have, her particular lender, which is why I chose them to be one of the sponsors here, they do have an ISA department, which I think is so cool. And more lenders are doing that. And this first-time homebuyer program that you're doing, you can set it up in a way where the leads flow into a spreadsheet and your lender is scrubbing them, qualifying them, so you're not having to hound them. You literally get their information, let the lender do the rest of it. When they're approved, then the ball's back in your court. Yeah. Okay.
we had that for
Go
a
ahead.
while.
Yeah. But I agree, like the in-house ISA probably gets the best conversion, but if you're not doing it at all, if you're a solo agent, then that's a great substitution. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, and then the next form, I would say the heaviest is circle prospecting, so making lists of listings that you've had in the past or places that you want to get a listing, or areas that you have a direct buyer need, and then calling those neighborhoods. That's the biggest chunk of my job besides the Facebook leads. So a lot of that is calling people with the simple script of, hey, this is Fiona, the True Lane Real Estate team. I'm working with someone that's really interested in living in the Oakwood Hills area. Do you want to sell, or do you know any neighbors that want to sell? And just being super friendly and being able to have those like community-driven conversations about the market, because people will either just be like no and then they'll hang up, or they'll be like, yeah, I've thought about it, because obviously everybody probably has the thought if they've owned a home, like, hey, I wonder what would happen if I sold it. And then you can kind of talk to them a little bit more about the market. Everyone likes to talk about real estate, so they'll ask you, like, are homes really selling over $100,000? Like, so just having those conversations too is.
Do you have people cuss you out and hang up on you?
Yes, yeah. I've had people do that. Well, I don't know, I'm just like nice, and I'm just kind of like, okay, well, if it's not right for you, that's fine. Like, exactly, no worries.
How does it make you feel?
Not gonna lie, sometimes it does get to me, but I'll just call the next person, because usually the next person isn't gonna do the same. You're not gonna, I mean, sometimes you could have the same experience twice in a row, but more likely than not, people are nice. Or they'll just say, no, thank you, and then they'll hang up.
And what's the worst thing that can happen if they push you out and hang up?
Closer to yes. You'll never talk to them again.
And yet, that's the reason that most people don't want to do it, right? Because they're so afraid
That someone's going to cuss me out.
I mean,
Have you guys felt like that? No?
I don't care.
Katie, be quiet up here. You've had people threaten you?
People threaten to call the office and like report me. So they'll like ask where my office is or whatever, but yeah, I've never had.
But you still have your license. And,
Yeah, I still have my license, I'm still working.
So, part of your script is, I have a buyer.
Yeah, that was just
Do you
one of them.
always have a buyer?
So usually yes, but you can't, I mean, there's always gonna be a buyer out there, so that's not necessarily
Mindset.
true.
Well, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I've said before, I have a buyer.
You know what? Yeah.
I just reached out to the agents in my office and I say, hey, does anybody have a buyer around 600,000?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, I got somebody. So then I say, hey, I have access to some buyers. Because I don't
Or
like
someone on
saying
the
that if I don't obviously have a buyer either. So I've like finagled the verbiage so I don't feel like guilty.
The way,
Or you can just say, like, if it's a neighborhood that you had a listing that went under contract or sold even, you can just say, hey, I sold your neighbor's home. Do you want to sell? Like, have you been thinking about selling? I have leftover buyers from that listing.
I have leftover buyers.
Which probably is genuinely true because you obviously had more than one person probably look at the home, so.
well, and I say I work with a lot of buyers in your area.
That's another good, yeah.
Yeah. Because that's very vague, but it's enough. It's enough. Yeah. So go ahead.
So, circle prospecting, I do open houses. So I'll do open houses, get those leads, and then call them the next day or a couple days after, just getting their input on like their interest in the home, if they wanted to put an offer in. And then if there's someone that's like, oh yeah, I like the house, but I want to buy something else, then I'll set an appointment with an agent on our team to talk about, you know, the buying process and working with someone if they don't already have an agent.
Yeah.
That's another way. But
Can you tell them how much you make?
yeah. So I made $50,000 last year in commission, and that was from 18 referrals that closed, and then I worked with 10 people on my own, 8 to 10 people on my own.
And so you made over 100,000.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Pretty close.
Yeah, pretty close.
And how old are you?
19.
That's impressive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So is that how, so are you thinking that, so when you send the lead to one of the agents on the team, they're paying you a referral fee?
Yeah, so it's a 25% referral fee. And I'm not salaried or anything else, it's just that flat fee.
So she's not costing her mom money, like she's paying her own way basically, which is.
So, and there's lots of different ways to do it. Go ahead. We're going to ask another question? Yeah.
So, but then I got, that just puts my thoughts around to the agent that's on the team, you know.
Having to pay less.
Well,
Or get less,
so
I mean.
she's paying, that agent's paying a 25% referral plus a split with the team lead? Or-
Yeah.
Split from the team pays 12.5 and the agent pays 12.5.
Okay.
So the agent doesn't pay the full 25%.
It's 25%
because they're on
out
the
of the
team.
entire.
Exactly, the entire, yeah.
Yeah, there are different ways to do it, and so they have a advanced. Okay, so this is like y'all. If you're solo, this is like your 5-year, 10-year goal. Okay, so if this is even something you want at all, and I'm going to talk about mine, which I feel like is more of a solo, way to do it. But I will say real quick, Nellie, how do you present this to your team? And how much do you make as a team leader off of the leads that are generated?
Right. So the biggest value that Fiona brings to the agents is the consistency of highly qualified appointments. So when you look at the value that comes to them from knowing that we're going to launch 1 to 5 listings a week, like clockwork, and there's going to be opportunities for them to just simply raise their hand and go get paperwork signed. The split, the cost to them becomes irrelevant. So it really is an opportunity to use an agent, a licensee in your market that doesn't want to work with lots of buyers and sellers and show houses and do everything. Right now, I'm where many of you are in your solo business in starting in a reverse expansion team in Southern California, where I'm the main lead generator and rainmaker, and I have a new licensee who's been in business for a year, has a 3-year-old, 5-year-old girls that can't show houses and really wants to work with me in real estate. So she is our ISA in Southern California. Do I pay for an hourly? No. So using the referral model like you would from any other lead referral source or other agent-to-agent business that you have is extremely powerful, whether you have a micro team, a traditional mega team, or you're a solo agent. Who do you know that's a licensee that wants to be in real estate but can't work anywhere but from home? So this is an opportunity that you can take back wherever you are in your business.
Yeah, Amanda?
Do you think that even though you mentioned the 0 to 24 and then you hired, this is something that
Yeah.
you could do at any time?
That's true. I didn't even think about it that way.
Just commission, yeah.
Yeah. Because who?
Train, I can teach.
Yeah.
Script. It's the physically
Yep. Yep.
exhausted. And
Yep.
then I can spend like 30 minutes and I have to take a break because mentally it's
Yeah.
But I would love to hire somebody that's like, I'll give it 4 hours, 5
Yeah.
hours a day, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
That I can find someone to do that.
Okay, so you mentioned that you did some on your own, but then you also, so how do you differentiate? What's going on there? Like, how do you, is the leads that coming, like, is that people that you know in your sphere and that's who you take? As
Yeah,
a
here's the
commission,
thing.
or?
We try to set the table where there is more food on the table than anyone has appetite for. So if Brianna puts a lead out there and no one's like, oh my gosh, I'd love to meet with someone at 5, and, you know, there's crickets,
Right.
then the lead still has to get serviced. So those were 10 people, but she wasn't taking opportunities away from our agents. We just needed an able-bodied person to work that.
And if you're a team leader, you know that struggle where you're paying for leads or you're generating leads and you're like, here's 5 leads, and everyone's like, oh, I'm too busy. They're not responding. Has anyone had that experience as a team leader? It is infuriating. I love you, Ty. Actually, Ty's the first one to respond normally, unless she's on vacation or something like that. So,
I never say no.
no, you don't. That's why she's still here. So, okay, did you have anything else to share about ISAs?
Not really, that was kind of.
Okay, perfect. So the way I compensate my ISA, and I'm going to show you how to break this down here in a few minutes after we finish the org chart. When you discover where your genius is and what brings you life and joy and where you should exist in your business, everything else on the org chart should be delegated, right? Eventually. I'm not saying right away. I'm just saying this is like, okay, I know my next hire needs to be this because I want to throw up every time I make a phone call, right? I mean, and that's okay. Okay, so my ISA, I have a full-time person that I know what's lacking in my business and my personal world is the consistent lead gen. And listen, I know I'm preaching to you guys to consistently lead gen, and I did. I paid my dues. But now I don't have to do that. So I set up the processes and my team follows it. So for me, it made the most sense to have my full-time person she does the posting on social media. She handles my database. She handles all of our client events. She calls our clients for me, with me. It's not just her, but with me once a quarter. So everybody's getting touched. We have a 52-touch client contact plan. By the way, if you want a copy of that, go to my Instagram, @with_Jessica Hensley. Send me a message with your email, and ML, who is the person I'm talking about right now, will email you, because she's also me on Facebook and social media. She's my body double. So she will send you our client contact plan. Okay, yeah.
How do you find that person with that skill set?
Well, first of all, you have to know what you're hiring for. And the way you do it is you join our micro team formula program. Okay. Yeah, but really, here's the thing. We have a limited and scarce mindset that this person doesn't exist, and I'm telling you, you're wrong. There are a lot of very talented people out there who are ready, but are they going to come to you if you're not ready? Are you going to be able to be the boss that you need to be for this amazing team member? If you are answering no right now, then you need to build the foundation first, and then you will find it. When you build it, they will come. Okay, so I have one person that's doing these things right here. She's marketing, she's doing client experience, and she's doing the ISA. So she's creating the opportunities, she answers my phone, she is me on Facebook, she posts as me. So she logs into my account because she's not licensed any real estate issues, right? So once she knows, she gets their contact information, she puts them into our follow-up boss. Follow boss is awesome, you guys. For the contact, that is the piece that changed everything for us and how we're able to insert. I'm able to insert myself throughout the entire process. Okay, so then that lead is either sent to me. You asked how we differentiate. This is how I differentiate. If the lead comes in and they worked with me in the past, they were referred to me, or they're over a certain dollar amount and it's a listing, not a buyer, this is for me, then the appointment goes on my calendar. So she says, great, I'm going to have Jessica call you. She gets on my calendar, she makes an appointment. Because it's on my calendar, it's going to happen. If it's not on my calendar, it doesn't exist, right? So all I have to do every day is just go where my calendar tells me to go, and the business flows in. Because once I'm on the appointment, I can win the business. It's no problem, right? But it's the getting the business that I love, that I have the systems in place to generate now. So if it doesn't go to me, it goes to Ty, or one of the agents on our team. And so those are our overflow leads. And we really do our best to make sure they get really good quality leads. So again, if it's a 300, oh, by the way, my median price point in our area is like 120,000. That's why we have to do 138 transactions, what we did last year. Otherwise, we wouldn't make very much money at all. So I really do my best to make sure good opportunities go to my team as well. And Ty also helps with listings. Okay, so I know I've already discussed it, but where do you think agents go? Sales. So the primary job of an agent is to win the business, to go on the appointment and convince the client that you're the right woman for the job. Your primary job doesn't have to be servicing it. I know, you guys are like, no, you're wrong. But it really doesn't. I show up in my business where I am most skilled, and that is in negotiations. So I tell them, you're getting 20 years of experience, thousands of transactions and experience. If there's a problem, I've probably faced it before, and I will know when to tap in to make sure you're getting the best deal possible. You're getting the most money if you're a seller, or you're getting the best deal as a buyer. Or we're going to get to the closing table, because I know what to do when you know what hits the fan, right? But I don't have to do the paperwork. Why would we think that I have to do the paperwork? Do you feel like you have to do the paperwork as an agent? Yeah.
People mess it up.
Yeah, but thank you for, we need to have a dialogue about this. Yeah. So here's the thing. If you have really good systems and processes, and you have trained your team, they should be able to do what you need them to do. And again, you still have oversight over the entire process. I still have oversight. Madison calls me if she's unsure, but she also has the power to make decisions on her own. I have empowered my team to act without having to check with me for every little thing. Because if you haven't empowered your team member to do that, you are not a boss, you're a babysitter. And you're not only an agent, you have 5 jobs, right? So that's not any fun. And I've had that before. I've had people that continually wanted to give me the job back. I said, here's your job description. And they're like, oh, well, wait, I need you to do this first. I'll do it after you do this. And for a while, or they just wouldn't do it. They'd wait till the last minute and I'd be like, I'm taking that job back. What do you think that instills in my team if I do that? What does it instill? I guess I don't do it now. No. But I used to do it. Ty, I know I've done it to you. How does it make you feel if I take your job? Yeah. She gets really upset. She's like, I was supposed to do that. Yeah. It doesn't give them the confidence that I trust them. It makes them feel like they second guess, like, what am I supposed to be doing? If you've told me I'm going to do this and then I go to do it and you've already done it, then I've either let you down or, it's not good. Okay, so we're going to go into the servicing the client. So can you guys think of some things that fall under service? Home inspections, good. Let's talk about positions first, and then we'll talk tasks. But that's, yeah.
TC, showing assistance.
Good. So, showing agent. Is anyone surprised that showing houses is under operations? Yeah. So why is it under operations? How am I doing on time? Okay.
Part of winning the contract.
Yeah. You're servicing the client. Exactly. Yeah. Okay, and once I'm going to tell you my 3 positions I have in my operations, and then I'll tell you how I overcome that biggest objection of I don't want my clients to feel like I'm passing them off. Right? I felt like that too. It took a while, and it took the right person for me to figure out that balance. Okay, so showing agent, transaction coordinator, any other positions you can think of that would fall under operations? Yeah, and I call it listing coordinator because the way I run it and the way we teach for the micro team is you are the agent for everything in the beginning. Your name goes on every transaction. Your name is on the Zillow, where you claim the sale. Your name's on the MLS. But you don't have to be the one doing all the work behind the scenes, but you are the one in the public because it's your business. It's your business, okay? Do you think you're going to make more money if your name is on all of that? If you're the agent that's getting the commission and then you're just paying a salary instead of having to split half of it? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, listing coordinating. So first off, showing agent. Again, my showing agent's not here. I'm so sad. Her and her husband and son, they went on another trip. So we're all gone. Hopefully are things good back home? Okay. So my showing agent is a brand new agent. She got licensed this last year. She was a client. I feel like a lot of the people I end up working with are people I sold houses to. Madison's one of them. And so I sold her house. She stayed in touch. She had a baby, and she's like, I want to be a realtor because I want time freedom. And I'm kind of laughing because most of the time that's not the case unless you set it up. It's possible. It is possible. But most agents I know, it's like, wow, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. So she became an agent, and I was starting to work with more and more buyers. I'd had a showing agent before, and it just really didn't work out well. We weren't closing the deals. She wasn't really happy with it. My clients would feel like I was passing them off. I felt that, feedback from them. So what changed was I found the right person for the role. So the way I do my showing agent, and you don't have to do this, but this is what worked for me. I pay my showing agent 15% of my buyer commission, plus $30 a door. So she does get paid at least for her gas when she's showing a house. And the reason I do it 15% off of every buyer I work with, whether she shows them or not. And again, I'm not saying you have to do it this way. This is why I did it. She has a buy-in. She is thrilled when I close a buyer. She is now a member of the team, right? It's not me versus her. It's us. She's excited. She also works her own leads too. She can go get her own business. So I'm not limiting her at all. But my requirement for that and how I wrote my job description for her is from the time I signed my buyer's agency, she is in a group message with me, with my clients. She sets them up on a search. She messages them every week at minimum, or daily if needed. If a house comes up that's in their criteria, she'll message them right then. But at minimum, she's messaging our buyers once a week. How long does it take to close a buyer now? I mean, from the time you sign that buyer's agency. You're finding your client's houses within 45 days?
Sorry, I thought you were under contract.
90 days? Yeah. Some people, it's 6 months or a year, you know, so it can be, exactly. Yeah.
Well, it depends on the market and what's available.
There's a lot of factors, and what happens whenever you have a pool of buyers like that, and you're also working with the sellers, and you're doing all the other things. I mean, unless you're superhuman, these people will fall through the cracks a little bit, right? Has anyone had that happen? You're like, oh crap, I signed a buyer's agency with them, and I haven't talked to them in a month. I hope that they haven't found another house, right? Well, that's what was happening to me, because I run Real Estate Mega Moms. And I just had a lot of things going on, and I was not servicing my clients the way I wanted to. So she makes sure that doesn't happen. So that's why I pay her on every transaction that I have. And so from the time that we sign that buyer's agency, she sets them up on a search, she contacts them once a week, and we have a 70-30 rule. So my goal is to be able to show my clients' houses 30% of the time. So I'm still showing houses, but it depends on availability. If you're part of the Inner Circle, you know we teach you how to time block and how to set boundaries in your business. And when I say that, you set clear boundaries of when you will show houses, when you will go on appointments. And you try not to make exceptions. So if I said, okay, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I can show houses from 1 to 4, and on Tuesdays I can have a late night and I can show until 7, and then every other Saturday I make myself available for 4 hours. Right? And I'm not saying I'm telling my clients that, but I'm setting my calendar up that way, and she's setting her calendar up that way. So when the client wants to see a house, our calendars, but we have double the time available now. So we see who's available, and then we go show. I really, really try not to step outside of those boundaries. And I know we've been in a really tough market where we all feel like when that house comes up, we better act right now. I do think it's kind of easing up a little bit, right? There's ways around it. But the point is, you're going to go over this with your buyer at the beginning, and you're going to explain, when the house comes up, we're going to put it in a group message. Let us know if you want to see it, and we will do our best to accommodate your schedule. That's how I phrase it. Okay, so does anyone have any questions on the showing agent? Uh-huh.
Do you also include it in the reviews?
I just leave it up to the clients sometimes. So the showing agent is off the scene once we go under contract. So that's the other thing. I'm the consistent face. They're always with me throughout the whole process. Everyone else on the team is with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like maybe you love your bank, or maybe you love your vet or something, I don't know. And it's not one person, it's the company. And that's how we try to do it. We are Heritage Homes. The other thing I want to share, the way we do the showing agent is she shows them, and we have the client rate the house from 1 to 10. And 1 being they hate the house, it was terrible. 10, they're ready to make an offer. If they say 6 or 7, we say, what would make it a 10? So my showing agent is instructed to ask them that on every house, and then she puts that in our group message. Because what I have had happen before, when I didn't have the right person doing this role, and I didn't set the right expectations, a showing agent had a side conversation, left the team, and then the person felt like they were working with that showing agent and not me. And I said, okay, that's fine. I let it go. But this is how I prevent that from happening now. All communication happens in our group message. and I'm in the loop on everything. Once they find the right house, I do the market analysis, I write the contract, and I negotiate the deal for the client.
Within your CRM too.
Yeah, we do it within Follow Up Boss, so it's all recorded. Phone calls are recorded, text messages are recorded, emails are recorded. And we go back and listen, don't we? I know Madison does.
Well, that's how I stay up to date, and that's how I.
She's like,
She doesn't have to text me what just happened. I can go see it, and I can listen to the exact conversation. I know exactly what I need to do.
and I try to be really nice and say only good things about Madison whenever I'm on those calls. Okay.
Jessica, your scale, your 1 to 10 scale, is that something that is printed?
It's part of our buyer consultation. I have a buyer packet whenever I do my sit-down appointment.
Are you willing to share that if we go?
Yeah, well, if you're a member of the Inner Circle, it's in there already.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's probably under resources.
Yeah, it's in the resource call.
Yeah.
In your member portal.
Yeah. Pam.
So when the showing agent puts the rate of, on the scale for the house, it's in a group message. Is she texting that?
Yeah.
It's going into Follow-Up Boss?
Yeah, she uses the Follow Up Boss phone number. So all she has to do is go into the app of Follow Up Boss, find our group conversation, and she messages in there.
Okay, got it.
Any other questions on the showing agent?
Just clarify, 15%.
Yeah.
And $30 a door is what's working
That's
for you.
that's what's working for me. You could just do by the door. You may not need someone to be that hands-on, but I need my business to operate without me.
What was that? Just 15?
I do 15% and $30 a door.
A door.
Yeah. Because my last showing agent, the biggest issue was the people weren't pulling the trigger. And so she was racking up, miles and gas and stuff. And I'm like, so yeah, I try to be generous and everything. In fact, every team member, if they work for me on my team, I pay their MLS dues, I pay their, do I pay your licensing dues? Like your renewal? I don't remember. I think just MLS and EXP. Yeah. So I pay a lot of their dues, I guess not all of them. And then they also get to share in the profit. So my accountant gives us a quarterly P&L. And so if I have a net profit, then they get 2.5% of our net profit. So they're also not going to be wanting to just spend money willy-nilly, and they're excited whenever we all win, right? It's very much a team atmosphere. Okay, Madison. So Madison is my transaction coordinator, and I think they all know what a transaction coordinator does. What are some things that you think sets you up for success?
The process.
Knowing the process.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I have a spreadsheet, that I kind of created off of what you had created before.
Yeah.
And I kind of changed it how I wanted it to be and added things into it, like who the lender is, what things they're going to need, what kind of loan, are they going to need a termite, like all of those things, and then I can check them off. Knowing the inspection periods, like filtering through the contract, doing all the things that like an agent would do, but it's things that I can do even though I'm not an agent. Follow-Up Boss, you can do pre-scripted templates. I love it because that's exactly what, like as soon as we drop a contract, I know, okay, I'm going over here, okay, it's a buyer.
Checklist.
And I have a seller, so I have like pre-scripted that I've kind of changed a little to fit my, how I want it done. But that's the great thing about it.
Yeah.
That in her role as a leader, she gives me the freedom of I can do things kind of the way I want it done because she trusts me knowing that I'm going to get it done.
Yeah.
And that's, I love that freedom.
Yeah.
But I also love that I can fall back on her. So that's where I do the pre-scripted templates. Okay, buyer under contract. Okay, awesome. We need to schedule inspections. Here's your fully signed contract. This is your list of inspectors that we can choose from, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? All of those things. And then from there, I just keep the ball rolling. I send out messages to the title company, and I normally always CC Jessica in. I mean, there's some things that, like, you just know that I do, but I hate to clog up your email anymore than, it already is. So, like, with the title office, I have a pre-scripted message. The other agent, I have a pre-scripted message. I send that other agent an email and a text. Jessica is in all of those.
Yep.
So that's like, and that's all in Follow Up Boss. So that it's like, we know exactly what's going on, and those other agents know that it's like, she may be doing something else, but they can always message this right here, and I can get the documents for them. That's really a lot of what I do, and I push it to closing.
Part of the program that we have, I have given you a spreadsheet of exactly what we do, so like the entire process, the templates for every document, for every stage of the process, and you use those. I mean, you copy and paste, and
Well, because you might have like a FHA mandatory clause. Like, no offense, I don't know what a lot of it is. I'm like, I don't know how to explain this document. So we have that spreadsheet. I can go copy and paste. Hey, we need this signed. Blah 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 blah. This is what you're signing. Same thing with like the ABA, which normally all of those documents are signed and in our dot loop, and I just go off of those. So, but spreadsheets, templates, that's how we go.
So when do you give clients updates?
Weekly. So on Fridays actually, and I've actually given a few client updates this morning. I don't know if you've seen anything.
I've seen stuff come through,
we have 2 closings scheduled for next week already. I should be.
Well, I'm at Disney World.
Yep. We should have the prelim title already back today. I'm waiting on that in an email. And that's another thing. It's like, as soon as like we get to this point, like you're almost talking to your clients every day. So that's where it's like, hey, you need to make sure you bring your driver's license. You need to make sure we have a cashier's check for this much. You need to, there's so many things that it's like, where are the keys at?
Yeah.
So it's like the things that, we all need to know, and you just go with it. But
and if that was all up to me, if I had 1 or 2 transactions, I'm sure I could go down the list and it would be fine. But there is no way. My clients would be so mad at me. I would lose business if it was all up to me. So you guys are really the reason that we get the repeat. Yeah, because I'd be working all the time. Absolutely. Exactly. Yes.
Where do things like addendums fall into the process? Like who handles that?
I do the addendums typically. What actually happens is I'll type it out in a text message and she'll do it. She'll put it in the document and send it to the client. Yeah, because those can be different. A little tricky. Yeah.
For sure. And that's, I'm not as experienced in that. And then she also, when she is in the group messages, if things get a little dicey, as she says, you know what I mean? She is there to have each other's back of like, okay, we need to do these things.
I started adding my transaction coordinator, my escrow officer, and my home inspector in my listing presentation.
Yes.
Because that was, I don't have a team, but they're my team.
Yeah.
So they're in the presentation. So everybody kind of knows who they are before we even get started.
Yeah. For sure. Pam.
Do you go to all of your closings?
I try, but if I'm not going to tell someone you can't close because I have an appointment. Right. And I have appointments every day. Like my calendar is pretty much full all the time. So if she can get ahead of that, then she'll schedule the appointment on my calendar. And I do my best. And there are some that I'm like, I have to be there.
Yeah.
But there are also or maybe it's a remote, closing. So, yeah.
And what do you do for like a closing gift?
Well, and that's something we track in our transaction, and Madison actually orders, right?
Me and ML.
Yeah, you guys do it together.
Office manager ML.
Yeah.
So normally, we do weekly meetings, and so on our giant spreadsheet, each of the transactions, if they're buyer or seller, the address, where we're at in the transaction, the date it's closing, and then normally we talk about okay, do they get a sign? Which they're big rounds that say welcome, or their last name.
Yeah.
Things like that, or sometimes whenever she wants to change it up, she puts that whatever she wants in it, and then ML and I kind of collaborate on okay, we need this many closing gifts, and right now we have 5 signs sitting in the back that we're going to be ready for. Since she's gone, I will be just walking it down to our closing office this week, you know what I mean?
And it'll be sitting for them at closing.
Yep.
Yeah. And before I left, I called these people and I let them know I am going to be away. Yes. And here's what's going on. I also called my active sellers and my active buyers, and I've empowered and I trust my team to negotiate contracts for me for 1 week. I trust them anyway, but otherwise, like, what am I doing, right? I kind of need to do that part. So Ty is going to handle my listing. Any offer that comes in, she'll figure up the net sheet, she'll present it to the client. And then the same with my showing agent, she's going to do that for my buyers. So.
And then once we have a contract, I'll take it over.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. The weekly meeting is huge, and that's something else that we go over in our program is I show you exactly how to format and what to go over in your weekly meeting, what metrics to hold each team member accountable to. Do you want to share what we had talked about the other day? So Nellie, yeah. Thank you, Madison. Yep. Okay, sorry.
So if you're looking at,
Be close.
let's say your first hire is an executive administrator that's handling transaction coordination like we just heard about. There are lots of different metrics that you should be looking at as to judge the success of that team member. And we had an example on our team. She's a great team member. I'm grateful for her efficiency, for her bandwidth, for the number of transactions that she can handle. And she's very, very loyal, and she cares about getting things done. So she's a taskmaster, and she's really good at that. And what I was measuring is I was measuring the success of that role based on client reviews and past client referrals. We have about 75% of our business coming from our sphere of influence and past client referrals. There's a lot of opportunity for a licensed admin in our business to get more of that and drive it to me. So, to our team, the reviews are your clients that are being serviced and they're raving fan opportunity and giving them an opportunity to get those on your Facebook page, on your Google page, and execute that. So what I was seeing is I was seeing high efficiency and 100% compliance. Our broker loves our transaction coordinator. She's phenomenal. And what I was missing is I was missing the consistent 5-star reviews. So I put together a plan. If you read the book, The One Thing, it's called a 1-3-5. It's 1 goal, 3 priorities, and 5 strategies to achieve those priorities. So I got very specific and created her 1 goal, which is to create a referable 5-star real estate experience for all of our clients, and put down her 3 priorities on how she was going to achieve that. And then we went through the 5 strategies. And I said, your success list is really based on our reviews and referrals. And that's how you've got your greatest opportunity and how you're going to provide the best value to our clients and our team.
And we had a conversation about this, and she was sharing how they weren't getting very many reviews, and I was asking, okay, does she know that this is your metric? And she's like, well, she does know. Okay, do you hold her accountable to that weekly?
That's the key.
Yeah.
That's the key.
And so that's where the weekly team meetings come in. If you have a metric of success for your team member and you haven't conveyed it and you're not holding them accountable to it, there is no way you can expect them to meet it. Right? So it was so cool. It was like an aha, which I was so excited I got to give you an aha because you have this expansion team and so many amazing things. And they do have, in fact, you have daily or 2 meetings a week. Yeah, so they have meetings. And so the format we show you is you actually get to create a scorecard for each position, and there's accountability. It's almost time for lunch, so just real quick, I'm going to wrap it up, and I'm going to share what Ty does. Do you want to share? So Ty is our listing coordinator. So what is your primary role?
So I'll try to keep it high level, but
Yeah.
so I will get a call, text from Jess saying, I have this person, this address, so I will go in and start our loop.
That's going to be a listing. Yeah.
Be a listing, yes, I strictly work with listings.
Right.
So sellers, so
Yeah.
I will start all the paperwork, get it ready for her, let her know when it's done, and then she takes over from that point.
I go on the appointment. Yep,
Yes.
get it signed.
She'll go on the appointment, get it signed, and once they're ours, we schedule for photographs, send all their information for photos if they want to look and see how they get their house ready. And then once we have it on the market, I do all the MLS, put that in there, pictures depending on who does it, and get that ready. I also approve all the showings with the seller, send them feedback from the showings, answer any agent questions about the houses with the sellers.
The agent part's the biggest deal. I love that you can answer the agent questions. So I don't have to deal with the other
We get
agents.
quite a few of those,
Yeah,
naturally, so.
yeah.
What else?
Yeah, I mean, and that's the biggest thing. So Ty's job is divided up into two parts. So we have a pre-listing part of her job that we pay by the listing. So whether it closes or not, she's getting paid when we get it listed. And do you care if I share?
No.
And I want to say the right number. How much is it? Is it $100? She's like, I'm going to give myself a raise. Yeah, but we get, $100 a listing, and we list, 8-ish per month, probably. Yeah. So I mean, it's the volume helps with that, and we do live in an area that is a little bit lower price point. So it has to, the money for me has to make sense for the commission I'm getting. If you guys are selling $1 million houses and you can afford to maybe pay somebody a little bit more, do it. You should.
Yes, so I have communications with the seller.
Yeah.
She's on every one of them, can step in at any time if she needs to. I try to go to all the photos to make sure all the photos are good. I put lock boxes up, keys in lock boxes, signs in the yard, all of that.
Yeah, and then she also gets paid every other week, $250.
Yep,
Every other week or $250 a week?
2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks, $250. So $500 a month.
Yes.
See, I'm terrible with this because we've had it for a while, and I also don't pay the bills. I don't write the checks. I have someone for that. Like you guys, I'm not joking. All I do is show up on appointments and I convert the lead. That's why I can do it 20 hours a week or less. And you guys could do this too. Does it sound like a career, a job that you want? Does it sound like the direction you want your team to go in? Yeah. And so the reason I pay her every other week is for the upkeep of answering those agent questions, answering the client questions, scheduling the showings, and getting the feedback. So, okay, that is what my team is about. I won't go over finance, it's just basically, my CPA. So yeah, I mean, I know I covered a lot. If you want to know more, we have a whole 12-week coaching program that I can help you set it up as well.
But you can also have a group strategy call with me.
Yeah.
The people that our students already have, they talk to me a lot. I'm very involved.
Yeah, yes. Well, she's my team with Real Estate Megabums.
Yeah.
And she operates in operations and in sales.
And
everything else at the moment. But
yeah. Anyway, so I'm involved a lot. But the thing is that we can talk through and see where you're at and build a plan when you can join and create a team as well.
Yeah.
So
and do it before you're ready.
Yeah.
Because you want to build this foundation.
Before you hire.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to find that perfect person and then fail them.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's the worst thing you can do. So you want to build a system where you can plug and play humans. So you have to figure out what kind of person you need, not just what they need to do. So it is a combined effort. So let's just, talk it through. But in the meantime, if you come see me like sometime today, there's a QR code that you can go look, and you can set up that appointment with me. We can talk through it and all that too. So.
And we have a free gift for you if you want to know more. We have our foundation team formula. It covers a lot of this, but there's even more. And you get some of the resources I talked about today, like your downloadable organization chart, and there's several other, the calendar, there's some other things that we go over. So anyway, go see Katie and she'll explain how you can get that. So, okay. All right, thank you.